Charles, why are you pro-choice?
I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily pro-choice, but I believe that we have to have the option of pro-choice for religious freedom. To me, the idea that there's a soul, that there's an afterlife, are religious beliefs that have no scientific basis at this point in our knowledge. So the idea that a fetus has achieved personhood because it has a soul, that's only a religious belief. It has no basis in scientific fact as we now understand it. So if we say we're killing someone, a fetus, it has biological life, but we haven't got any proof it's achieved personhood, from my point of view. So we're deciding to impose a religious belief on those who don't accept it. If a person feels abortion is right for them and they do not accept that the fetus has achieved personhood, that's imposing religious basing legislation on religious beliefs.
Okay, well,
and we're supposed to be a secular state.
All right, well, Charles, let me offer a counterexample to that. Suppose someone believes it's okay to kill their newborn infant because their religious belief is that you don't get a soul until you can talk and say words. You know, that's when the soul has entered the body, when you can say words, talk, things like that. At the very least, they don't believe that a 1-month-old newborn is a person. It doesn't have a soul. And that's not a totally out there belief. The philosopher Peter Singer has argued that we shouldn't consider newborns to be persons in some cases. So do you think laws against killing newborns impose the religious view that newborns are persons or that they have souls? What do you think about that?
I think the idea that it has a soul or doesn't have a soul is irrelevant. A newborn is a person from the point of a scientific point of view.
Okay, let me ask you.
It isn't the point of whether it has a soul or not is the issue.
I agree. I actually agree with you. And in fact, the Catholic Church does not have an official position on when the soul enters the body. There are proposals for it, but the Church has not defined when exactly the soul enters the body, and that the Church's opposition to abortion is based on the fact that the unborn child is a human being. So let me ask you a question. How do you know a newborn is a person? I guess, how does science show us that someone's a person? Is person a scientific category? What is a person?
Well, maybe I'm using the wrong word there, but because that's what they've said about the Church has tried to say it has personhood, and some states have tried to say, what would you call it? A fertilized egg in the ovum in a woman has already achieved personhood. There's been the proposal to make that the law in some states.
That's right.
But personhood is basically, I think, that you can show that there's feelings, that there's self-awareness to some degree. At least, a cat has a bit of a self-awareness. I think you can do that with a baby.
Well, are cats persons?
They're sentient beings. Maybe that's the word we need, sentient beings.
Right, but what do we do? But we euthanize probably millions of cats in this country. Are we?
It's not probably a good idea. It's still probably a sin.
Is that on?
If you want to use that word,
is the euthanizing of millions of cats on par with, when the Nazis gassed millions of human beings?
There's a hierarchy of sentient beings.
All right. Well, let me put it this way then. Let's try another sentient being. Rats are sentient. Obviously, they can figure out things in the world. They can be pests. Is it murder to fumigate a barn and kill a bunch of rats?
Yes and no. You're killing them. You're committing an act of killing.
Should we put should we put the farmer in jail for fumigating his barn?
No.
Why?
Because he's been attacked. It's self-defense.
Okay, so all right, so it's okay to kill rats even though they have sentient feelings. So sentience, it shows, is not okay to kill persons, because if he found a bunch of babies in his barn, human babies, he couldn't just go and kill them, saying, I don't know who these babies are, and I don't want to have to take care of them or drive them down into town. I think, would you agree, there is a difference? There is a clear, obvious difference between killing a rat and killing a newborn baby.
Yes, because the babies don't pose a threat.
Okay. Is it, if you kill a baby, should you go to prison?
Yes, but the reason is that we don't want our own children killed. A lot of our laws are based on if that is allowed to happen, it could happen to us.
Charles, if I have a law,
I don't want my children killed, so I don't allow other children.
What
to
if the
killed.
law just says you have the right to kill your own children who are
the law
born?
used to say that in the Old Testament. You did have the right to kill your children.
Where does it say that? Where?
Deuteronomy.
Where?
You have the right. In Deuteronomy, it says that if children speak back to their parents, they have the right to have their children stoned to death.
Deuteronomy provides punishments for people who break the law and the covenant in Israel. And interpreting what these texts means and whether their punishments are literal or non-literal is different from what we're talking about. I want to get back to this main issue. You and I agree that it is wrong to kill newborns. And I think the reason is, what we really want to agree on is because newborns are human beings. Let's even go with your argument. It should be wrong to kill newborn babies because I wouldn't want someone killing my newborn baby. Was that the argument you were making?
I think that's the how our laws work.
Okay. Then why don't we have this law? It should be wrong to kill unborn children because I wouldn't want anyone to kill my unborn children. Would that be a good law?
No.
Why? What's the difference between an unborn child and a newborn?
Well, the difference is it's not viable as a human being. It has not achieved personhood. It's not in any sense. It's only a biological entity without self. It can't indicate its wants. It can't do it. There's no self-consciousness there yet.
But why does that matter? Because we've already shown
that's the basis of personhood to me. Otherwise, you.
But I don't think it is because you agree we don't put people in prison, even if you just let's say there's a rat on the side of the road and it poses no threat to me, and I shoot it. Should I go to prison for life?
Not for life, but you should probably. Be fined.
I should be fined.
You've taken life without a reason. If you don't like a rat and you just kill it, there should be some sort of you've taken a life that was self-supporting, that was independent. You've killed something that didn't need to be killed. Okay. There should be a punishment.
Okay, so we should fine people who kill rats, but no punishment for people who kill babies before they're born. I mean, I guess that is the impasse that we have reached here, and I'll leave it up to our listeners to see which view is more reasonable then. But I thank you for calling in. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Charles.